Hey! Have you subscribed to this channel yet? I recommend subscribing to this channel that you are on at this moment in time. Subscribe! Please! Ring the bell! The ding ding, the bell, yeah, that. And then go to not person, no, all, no, not person, all. Intergeneric, hey guys, here. Welcome back to another episode. I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to do that, man. It's what it is. I'm actually not really that excited. I don't know why I even faked the energy. I have actually no energy.
Don't care.
Welcome back to another episode of Smash Talk, guys. In today's video, we're going to be answering the question. You guys see the title. You guys see the thumbnail. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But in today's video, guys, we are going to be talking about the thing. Huh? Now, before we begin this video, I just want to go ahead and express this. Number one, this is not a Waddle Dee hate video, okay? That's not it. Okay, kinda is it. But two, this isn't a rhetorical question. I genuinely am curious why so many people and why the whole world wants this character in Smash Brothers. Now, listen. What I said when K-Roll got announced, this said when I don't care about any more characters getting revealed.
I am so confused.
That's a fact. You know, I still don't. But I still am genuinely curious about why certain characters should be in Smash Brothers. And honestly, Waddle Dee is the biggest freaking mystery of them all because I do not understand the hype around the character. So in today's episode, my friends, we are going to be talking about what exactly my gripes are with the character and kind of go through that so I can understand you and you can understand me. And in the comment section, make sure to give me comment. I mean, make sure to obviously comment on why you think Waddle Dee deserves to be in the roster. Okay? Now without further ado, let's get it poppin'. Cue the black screen. Now, this started a long time ago, back when Smash 4 was coming out. A lot of people were excited for Smash 4, and I think the general hype started around Waddle Dee when it was announced that Day-to-Day will only be throwing Gordos and not Waddle Dees anymore. You gotta see, in Brawl, Day-to-Day throws Waddle Dees and Waddle Doos, or a chance of Waddle Dees, and then there's a chance he throws a Gordo. So, mostly, it's just Waddle Dee. But in Smash 4 Sakurai changed that in the Direct of April 4th. It was a revolutionary Direct, by the way. I just want you to know that. But they do less damage, obviously, did in Brawl, because in Brawl was like a rare chance. But in this game, they made it so that way the Gordos do an acceptable amount of damage, an acceptable amount of knockback, and an acceptable amount of coming out.
I'm a transgender turbo pansexual.
When that came out, a lot of people were speculating that because the Waddle Dee was not available anymore in his side B, does that mean Bandana Waddle Dee is going to be a character, right? Okay, so here's what I don't understand. Why? Why are we so hype about Waddle Dee being in Smash? And that's just, like I said, it's not a rhetorical question. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm legitimately curious as to why so many people want Waddle Dee. And no, I do not want that typical, oh, Sakurai can make a moveset out of him. Oh, the moveset's practically made exactly for him. Oh, he's the fourth character of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, so he has to be in. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. No, that's not a good reason. I'm gonna tell you guys the reasons what I hear from freaking everybody and their mom, and I'm going to explain why those reasons are ass and can be applied to literally every other character, okay? Alright, we're going to go through this. I'm going to go through every single reason. I'm going to counterpoint very easily through I don't even know why I'm mad. I'm not mad, alright? I'm sorry. But like, it's just genuinely, it frustrates me because there's so many people who wants the character in, but if it's for the reasons that I've heard, and those are the only reasons that you want him in, then I can literally say that about any other character in the I could say that about a Goomba. That's why I want a Goomba in Smash. That's the reason why he's in the game.
And number one, A Goomba.
This is not what I'll probably delve in those topics deeper later on, but I just want to counter some stuff going on with Waddle Dee's moveset and stuff. So once again, this is not a Waddle Dee hate video. I'm just countering the points that I have received, and if there's any other legitimate reason as to why people want a Waddle Dee in Smash Brothers, then please go ahead and tell me. Alright? Tell me in the comments below. Roast me if you want. Call me an idiot, okay? I don't care. But I just am genuinely curious as to why people want the Waddle Dee in Smash, okay? So we're gonna go through each of the points people mentioned about Waddle Dee, and we're gonna see what happens. Alright, let's go. Yay! So, point number 1. The character would be a new Kirby rep that we haven't had. Okay, well, this is the first thing. Mostly because of the fact that we haven't had a lot of Kirby characters as of a while ago. This is mostly due to Sakurai's comment about the Kirby series and how he doesn't want to put his bias into Smash Brothers, which obviously he doesn't. I mean, look at the Fire Emblem roster. You know, Kirby only consists of 3 characters, which is Kirby himself, King Day-to-Day, and Meta. And those are the only 3 characters that are in the game, and I mean, people want more reps. So, because this is what I'm going off of, because of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, having Kirby, Meta Knight, and Day-to-Day, on top of that, also having the 4th character being a Bandana Waddle Dee, that is why people kind of click it in their heads to want Bandana Dee so badly. First of all, there are 3 billion other better Kirby reps you can put in the roster than Bandana Dee. And we'll get into like moveset and stuff later on. In fact, you know what? That's gonna be my next point. Basically, my counter to that is he doesn't have to be the Kirby rep. He doesn't have to be. There's plenty of other characters, iconic characters in the Kirby series that I would love to see way more than Bandana Dee, if I'm gonna be honest. And this leads me to my second option of why. Why do I am not with the Bandana Waddle? And that is because, ladies and gentlemen, the second point that people always mention is that Bandana Dee would have such an easy moveset. It would just be simplistic, and it would be great, and it'd be easy to do. Yay! I'm sorry, but that argument is horrible at this point. The reason why is because we have the Duck Hunt in Smash Brothers. Sakurai made a moveset with that character reflecting on the personality of that character, right? Duck Hunt, all he does is laugh and hop into the grass, and Sakurai made that a character. We go to characters like Mr. Game & Watch. Mr. Game & Watch is an amalgamation of different Game & Watch games. So yeah, I mean, at the time you can make a moveset out of it, but it's hard to do that. You have to have some creative balance when it comes to the character. However, I feel like with Waddle Dee, you can't do much with the character. You really can't do a lot. Now, once again, I'm not saying you can't do anything with the character. You can apply like Kirby Star Allies, like the friend thing. Maybe he has like other friends following him, and then he can throw his heart in other friends and then make different attacks based on element of the attack or something. Something like that. Something of how Kirby Star Allies. However, what people are suggesting, and this is going off the people who want this character in Smash Brothers, people just think, hey, he has an easy moveset to import from his game to Smash Brothers. Easy mode. That's not really a good thing, because Sakurai, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, Sakurai wants interesting characters that have a unique twist to their moveset. He wants characters that people will find interesting to play. And from a design standpoint, both of his design actually in the game, and then we talk about his moveset design, Waddle Dee is just not an interesting character. He is a orange circle with eyes. He's an orange circle with eyes and a spear and a bandana. You know, with the bandana is cool. I won't lie. Bandana is cool. This is every single video I see. People are like, oh, for his up B, we can have Waddle Copter, where he twirls his freaking thing up and it does damage. Boom. Unique move. Oh, his neutral B be him throwing his spear forward. Spear thrust. His down B, ground thrust. Very similar to Bowser, where he drops up and down and stabs his opponent. I'm so unique. This character seems so fun to play as. Definitely doesn't seem like, you know, boring. Now, from a competitive standpoint, which we're not, by the way, we're not talking from a competitive standpoint, but I will give you guys this. If he was in Smash, I reckon that he would be one of the best characters in the game, because he has a story. He has a short stature and he has a long ass sword. So he has a ranged weapon. It's like Kirby with a sword. It's actually kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Once again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about people's interest in the character. And I just find that it just, his moveset, from what people have said. Once again, I'm not saying you can't do anything with the character, but from what people have said and people have told me what they could do with the moveset, it just seems so boring to me that there are 3 billion better characters out there that I think would represent that way better. And I think would have a more interesting moveset in general. Even characters in the Kirby universe that would have better moveset in general than the Bandana Dee. But once again, this is nothing towards Bandana Dee. I don't know what to call him, Bandana Waddle Dee, or Bandana Dee. I don't know, it is what it is. I just don't understand why people are so hyped about this guy. I don't get it, man. Y'all need to calm down. Once again, that's not to say Sakurai can't make him cool, because I mean, once again, you can use elements of past games, sure, but is it worth it? I just don't think so, personally. I think there are way better options out there, especially since Star Allies showed so many new characters in the game. So I guess this goes to another point. Now the other thing I will mention is I have a good friend of mine named Darwin the Namacon, aka Namacon. He's a friend of mine, and we had a discussion video a while ago. I completely re-edited it and I put it on this channel. It's like 4 hours long or something, and we talked about this at one point. And now if I can find it, I'll insert the clip here, but I don't know if I'm gonna scroll through a 4-hour long video in order to find it. I don't know, I may do it, I don't know. Basically what was said was, I said, hey Darwin, and he said, yeah, I don't understand the hype around Waddle Dee. And I said this exact thing. I said, hey, what is the deal with Waddle Dee? Why do people want him in so bad? And you know what he told me? He said, yo, if you just play Kirby Return to Dreamland, you'll understand. That's what he said to me. That was the only thing he said to me, mind you. So what did I do? I played it. I watched Let's Plays of it. I watched like three different people doing a Let's Play on it. I still don't understand the hype around Waddle Dee. I really don't. It's just, why? Hey guys, where were you when where were you when he was in Superstar Ultra, huh? When he was in that Megaton Punch mini game, huh? Hey, y'all didn't say nothing there, huh? Yeah, y'all didn't say nothing there. Yeah, that's what I freaking thought, good sir. None of y'all, y'all Waddle Dee supporters probably didn't even know he was in Superstar and Superstar Ultra in the Megaton Punch, and then in Superstar Ultra he had a more significant role or something like that. But you guys didn't know that, huh? So just in case I didn't make my point clear enough, the reason that I'm making this video in the first place is because, once again, in my personal opinion, I do not think Waddle Dee would make the greatest Kirby rep at all. In my humble opinion, this is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, don't get offended. Why? Because the arguments people present, I feel like, once again, I'm gonna present them. So people are saying the character is another Kirby rep. Okay, but the problem is that there are other better options that I feel like would make for a more unique moveset. I understand that the moveset for him can be made easily, but Sakurai's proved to us that that really should not be an argument, because once again, he's done it multiple times. With the Bandana Dee, once again, I feel as if you just take the moveset that he has in Kirby Return to Dreamland, or you take Spear Kirby's whole moveset or something like that, yes, you could make it moveset, and yes, it would be different from other fighters, but I feel like different and unique are kind of two different things. With unique, there's something about the character that stands out from the other fighters. However, I feel like, once again, if you just take a moveset from Spear Kirby and Bandana Dee, and you take it from Star Allies and yada yada, you take all that and mush it together, boom, you got something. You have something, yes, but is that something interesting? The other thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is that right now, currently, we are in a time where DLC is coming out for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and for the next fighter pass and stuff, people kind of have the speculation of Bandana Dee. However, the problem, once again, with Bandana Dee that I personally have is that the moveset that he could bring to the table is not worth no damn DLC character. If I wasn't already like a super huge fan of Smash Ultimate, I bought the Fighter Pass 2 already, right? In my personal opinion, Waddle Dee would be a huge sleeper for me. I don't think I would choose Waddle Dee because he's not interesting design-wise, and he's not interesting from a moveset perspective. He's not interesting from either, so why would I pick him up out of all the characters? I think the motto for this video, honestly, that I'm trying to convey is just that there are better options out there. You don't have to contain yourself in this little tiny box just because he's the 4th character Kirby universe that you can play as in Return to Dreamland. Just because that is a thing that happened once, mind you, once. And no, I'm not counting Star Allies, bro. I'm not counting Star Allies because you can play as damn near everybody in that game. But in Return to Dreamland, just because one time where he was playable in the thing, and then in the other games he started having a few more roles in the roster, people literally blow that out of proportion because it's literally just, oh, he gives you fruit that heals you. He's just a healer at the end of the day. Once again, Bandana Dee as a fighter is just not interesting, and there will be other fighters that, in my personal opinion, would be so much more interesting, and I would love to play way more than Waddle Dee. Waddle Dee is a very low point in Kirby that I would choose for a character, and I feel like, once again, I'm stressing it, and I'm saying this a lot because I want to stress this point. There are better options out there. We need to stop with this whole just because for the sake of convenience. For Mario, for example, Mario's playable, Luigi's playable.
That's Mama Luigi.
But Toad is not playable. Toad is a character that can be played in the new Super Mario series. But that doesn't mean that he should be the fourth character. Just because a character is playable in a game does not mean that they should automatically deserve a spot over so many other fighters that would just be more interesting. So I'm just saying, all right? I'm just saying. I know people are gonna hate me for it, but that is my personal opinion. That whole playable thing that a lot of people like to throw up, which is like their main argument for Bandana Waddle Dee, I think is bubkiss. I think it doesn't matter if he's playable or not. The point is if he's interesting, and he's not interesting whatsoever. And once again, I will say this: if there was no other option for a Kirby rep other than Bandana Dee, then okay, I can see your point. However, there are better options out there, which is why I like them more than Waddle Dee, and why I would prefer them to be playable over Waddle Dee, in my personal opinion. I hope that made sense, my guys. I hope that made sense. Next argument that a lot of people say is that people compare him to the Piranha Plant because, as everyone has said, because the Piranha Plant is a generic enemy in the Mario games, that means that Waddle Dee or Bandana Dee should be in the game. But isn't you saying that basically admitting that he is a generic enemy in a bandana with a spear?
George, they're onto us!
Let's get out of here.
So I'm gonna counter this point by saying the Piranha Plant is easily more interesting, and I will take Piranha Plant over Bandana Dee out of any time of day. And now here's why. For one, from a design standpoint, the Piranha Plant is a lot more interesting. The Bandana Dee is the same generic shape as Kirby, and he has a sword. Oh, I'm sorry, he has a spear. Right. He has a spear. I'm sorry. He has a spear. Right. Got it. I apologize. I'll get to that argument in a minute, but right now let's take on Piranha Plant. So with the Piranha Plant, the reason why a lot of people say that is, for one, it's obviously meant to be a one-time thing. This is not a rise of all the generic enemies from different franchises to come together and be characters. This is a one-time thing, a passion project by Sakurai, and something that he himself wanted to do personally, as he has hinted at very heavily when he first revealed Piranha Plant. This was kind of a passion project for him. And the reason why this is a passion project for him is because Piranha Plant, from a design aspect, is an interesting character. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, let's just say that Bandana Dee, okay fine, he can do everything else that the generic Waddle Dee can, and the generic Umbrella Dee and the other ones. But let's think about this. How many Waddle Dee breeds are there? And I'm not counting Waddle Dee breeds. I'm not counting Waddle Doos. Bandana Dee does not have a big ass eye around him to enable him to shoot out lasers, okay? So we're not counting that. So I'm gonna look this up right now, okay? We're gonna look this up and prove this once again. So Waddle Dee species.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, Bandana Dee. Well, we talked about the whole spear thing. We have the regular Waddle Dee. Okay. We have the Umbrella Waddle Dee. Okay. We have the ones from Epic Yarn, which is not going to be used for obvious reason. So we have Parasol Waddle Dee, the regular Waddle Dee, and Bandana Dee. I'm not counting the Sailor Waddle Dee. The Sailor Waddle Dee, once again, is at most a skin. And yeah, so that's what? 3 types? And all that one can do is push you around and not even do damage to you. Right. That's such variety. So Verity, how many types of Piranha Plants are there again?
You've got your basic Piranha Plants, your fire Piranha Plants, Chewies, Nipper Plants, Nipper Spores, Hunters, Jumping Piranhas, Wild Chewy Piranhas, Color Piranhas, Naval Piranhas, Chewies, Next.
As you can clearly see, there's a lot to... Hey, Verity, shut up! Gosh. This is why people hate you. But anyways, this is why I feel that Piranha Plant is a much more interesting character than Waddle Dee. Yes, Bandana Dee has his own identity. And yes, you can use other species like you can the Piranha Plant. But there are a lot of different Piranha Plants that are referenced within the moveset. Even in the Final Smash is referencing the PD Piranha, which technically I guess counts as a species, but it's like a summoning species, I guess. So first of all, I don't want to hear, oh, he did it with the Piranha Plant, so he can do it with anything he wants. No, it's a passion project, guys. It's gonna eventually get ridiculous if we keep doing this trend. It's obviously a one-time thing. It's a novelty type thing, and it worked for one. I do not think it will work again another time. All right, just saying, all it is. And if he does do it again, then that is a very dumb mistake on Sakurai's part. I'm sorry to say, I won't like that personally. Have you guys ever asked yourself, why did he choose a Piranha Plant rather than a Goomba or a Koopa like I compared to? Granted, I will say the Goomba comparison is a little hostile, as I understand there's a couple differences with the character. Bandana Dee is an established character. He's been in every Kirby game since Superstar, or My bad. I apologize for that. Even if you want to count the Waddle Dee, which doesn't make any sense, but sure, we'll count the Waddle Dee. Let's just say Bandana Dee can spawn a big ass eye in his stomach. Sure, we can say that, so we're making up stuff. That's like what, 4 species? Meanwhile, Piranha Plant has how many varieties? Shut up. The point I'm trying to make is that Piranha Plant as a species have many different types, and through those types, as a collective, be a unique designed character. And I know people like to say it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Well, it matters in terms of how exciting it is to create a character. And if you look at the Piranha Plant, you see Piranha Plant is very different from a lot of characters because she doesn't have any damn feet, bro. She's in a potted plant and she waddles around as a way to get around, and that makes for a more interestingly designed character that a lot of people would buy. With the Waddle Dee, yes, I understand he has a spear, but he's Kirby with a spear, and that's all he is. Okay, it is what it is. Another thing I see a lot of people talk about, and this is something that I've referenced, is that he has a spear, guys. He'll be totally different from all the sword characters. He won't be the same thing, throwing his sword around like every other sword fighter. So what would he do with his spear? Would he stick it up his ass and then like it would create beams of light? Like, bro, like what do we think he's gonna do with the spear? He's gonna swing it around to hit people, and that's exactly what sword characters do. Basically, what you're saying is, oh, guys, don't worry. He'll use his spear. That's totally different from a sword. It's totally not a weapon that you can hold in your hand that you can swing around and hit people with. And what does Bandana Dee do in the Kirby games in Return to Dreamland? Oh wait, he takes his spear out and swings it and hits people, just like what every single sword fighter does in Smash Bros. Wow. I guess that really is a stupid argument, huh? He would do the same motions. Yes, he would throw it in a different way. Yes, he would probably do it in different formation. But you're acting like he can do freaking magic tricks and bunny rabbits pop out of the damn spear. No, he just swings it around and it hits people. Oh, but it could have a tipper mechanic. Oh yikes. That already exists. Just saying, your arguments, once broken down, are not that good. It's like what a lot of people said with Dixie Kong with her hair mechanic. You can be like, oh, guys, she can do so much with her hair. So what, we're gonna have every single attack be with her hair? Boring. Now, I will just want to stress out, I'm not saying that he is an impossible character to get, because, and I know I've said this multiple times, but I'm hammering it in your mind so that way you can get the whole point of this video. He is not the most interesting character in the Kirby universe. In the Kirby universe, there are so many better characters to use rather than Bandana Dee. You do not have to limit your thinking just because he is playable in one game. And no, once again, I don't want to hear, oh, he's playable in Star Allies, because every character is playable in Star Allies. He is boring compared to the options you have. There are better options in the Kirby universe to use as a fighter. All I'm trying to say here. For example, let's talk about some. For example, let's go with a character that's literally already in Smash Bros. Marks. Marks is in Smash Bros. And as you can see from a design standpoint, he is very interesting because he's also been in the Kirby games for a very long time, as everyone and their mother likes to say with Waddle Dee. And unlike the arguments that people present with Waddle Dee, you can see the uniqueness drip from Marks' moveset if you can find something to compare him to. I mean, he has no arms, guys. You can do so much, and you have to think outside the box with this character. And I feel like as a boss fighter, he has so many unique moves that you can put in as special moves, as smash attacks, and all of the above. There's a lot you can do with him. And plus, guys, guess what? Just like Waddle Dee, he's also playable in Kirby Star Allies, and they've made a moveset out of it. So guess what? You can make a moveset of that into Smash Bros. And it will be 10 times more interesting than Bandana Dee could ever be. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. Another thing that we're severely lacking in the Kirby franchise is a dedicated villain to the series. Day-to-Day obviously ain't no damn villain anymore, and Meta Knight is less of a villain and more of an anti-hero in the Kirby game. So, with that being said, I feel like Marks would be that kind of definitive villain that would work in the series. Plus, he's iconic. A lot of people know who Marks is, and I'm not talking about the communist, I'm talking about the Kirby character. And on top of that, he has a varying bunch of moves that could work. He could fly as his running animation with his wing. And on top of that, once again, he has things like his ball he uses. He has a bunch of other attacks he uses. Just go watch his boss fight. Go watch the many times Marx is in the Kirby series. Hell, go play Smash Bros. Classic mode because Marx is a character there. And I know what everyone's gonna say. Oh, but Marx is already in Smash Bros. Dude, you idiot. He can't be a character. Why not? Why not? It's not like he's in a mode that every character can get to. You can only access him through certain characters like the Inkling, Kirby, and I'm sure there's a couple others. Those are the only ways you can access the character's model at all. To be honest, you could still have him as a fighter, a playable fighter in Smash Bros. And him work completely fine. It's not like he's an assist trophy or he's in a stage or something to where it wouldn't make any sense. You could just have him be his own character. So it'd be even easier than Waddle Dee because you don't even have to do much. You already have his model there and you have some movesets you could do, some moveset potential. Easy mode. There you go. And there's a much more unique and interesting character that can be integrated into Smash Bros. And have his own moveset rather than Waddle Dee. That's all I'm saying. Now let's say you didn't want to go the villain route, right? Let's say you didn't want to go the villain route. Okay, fine. Let's go with another character that is just as old as Waddle Dee and was introduced in Waddle Dee, has recently become playable, and has a lot of potential as a character. Adeline. Let's talk about, or wait, is Adeline or Madeline?
2,000 years later.
So Adeline, what's so good about Adeline, you say? Well, for one, like every other thirsty gamer out there, she's female.
Oh no.
Well, actually, no, wait, hold on. FBI, open up! On top of that, she would make a much more unique character than Waddle Dee because guess what she could do as a character? She's shown that she can paint things and then they come to life. So she could represent a type of fighter that really isn't represented all that much in Smash Bros. That's a summon fighter. A character who really just summons something and they fight for them. Now we've seen inklings of this like with Zelda with her down special. As far as to my knowledge, I think that's one of the only fighters that has an ability like that. I'm sure there's other fighters that have the ability, but a summon character, someone that summons something and then has that fighter attack for them. I think Adeline could easily do that. In fact, I think she could do one move if you want. It could be a neutral B attack or it can be like a side smash or up smash. He could paint Bandana Dee and he could stab upwards as a move as for a summon character. That would be fire, and I think as a summon character it would be once again really interesting because that is an aspect of Smash Brothers and that's an aspect of a character, of a fighter character in general that hasn't been touched really in Smash Bros. So that would make her way more interesting than Waddle Dee because you have so much potential with that. Plus, because people like to say, oh, you could take Spear Kirby and Spear Kirby's moveset and put in that. Well, then I'll play that game too. You can use Paint Kirby, which is a new ability, mind you, that's been introduced very recently. I think even it was in Star Allies, but I may be wrong on that. Either way, it's a new ability that you can use in the game as sort of a skeleton for the character's moveset, and then for certain special moves and maybe something here and there, you can add, like, it's again her painting mechanic where she can paint something and then it comes to life and attacks. That would be way more interesting than Waddle Dee will ever be. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's true. Another character that would be a lot more interesting. Another character that was in the same game that Waddle Dee's popularity debuted in, Magolor. Magolor is a well-loved character among the Kirby series. I've seen many people rank some of his boss fights as some of the top in their list of Kirby boss fights. He's one of the most impactful characters because of his role in the storyline that is, in my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people would agree with this, is more important than Bandana Dee ever had in a role of a story. I understand he's had more roles as a character. Sure, he's been in more games than Magolor, but Magolor had an overall impact of the story. Meanwhile, Waddle Dee is just a multiplayer option, and that's all he is. So, on top of that, you have Magolor, who is way more interesting of a character, has way more interesting moveset, is way more interesting design-wise, and would just be cooler to put in overall than Bandana Dee. And then let's go over a character that I would personally want and that I think would be really cool, Daroach from Kirby Squeak Squad. Do I actually think that's gonna happen? Hell no. But would I love it to happen? Hell yeah. I think Daroach would make for an interesting moveset. On top of the fact that he can do things like float, he can fire beams from his wand, you can do a lot of cool things with that. I really haven't analyzed the boss fight once again, and I'm just spitballing characters out, but you guys can see my point here. There are so many characters that I think would be way more interesting in the roster of Kirby fighters that we actually have that are present in Smash Bros. And that could actually represent something way more different than Waddle Dee could ever. I think that's why Bandana Dee is low on my list of Kirby characters to choose. Once again, if Bandana Dee was the only character, the only option in Kirby that could be a fighter, then fine, I would agree with you. But if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, you're limiting yourself, and it's annoying because there are so many interesting characters in the Kirby universe. I'm not saying I don't want a Kirby character in there. I would love a Kirby character character in Smash Bros. I do think Kirby is underrepresented in the game, and I do think they deserve more series representation. But I think that Bandana Dee is not only a limited way to think about having a character in the game. I feel like those people who want Waddle Dee in Smash would settle for Dixie Kong in Smash back when the whole Dixie and K. Rool thing happened, because people always saw it as, oh, Dixie is more likely to happen just because she has a playable role in the game. And guess what? She still isn't in Smash Bros. Now in this case, yes, more people want, and like I said, I understand it. But once again, I think that people are once again limiting themselves because they see Bandana Dee was a fourth playable character in Kirby Return to Dreamland. So they automatically think to themselves, oh, that means that the only possible character that could be in Smash Bros. And the only possible character that makes sense in that regard is Bandana Waddle Dee, and everyone else is just extra, which is far from the truth. There are so many characters in the Kirby universe that you could use. Why would you settle for the Waddle Dee with a bandana on that carries a spear, guys? Come on. Like, let's be real with ourselves. And once again, I apologize I had to make this. I apologize that I probably triggered all of you, and I apologize if it's made you angry. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't care, because Waddle Dee is uninteresting, he's boring, he has a very lame moveset ideas that a lot of people come up with, and while you can do something unique with him, maybe with the whole friend thing, you can stretch that because that's totally unique to Waddle Dee, and totally any other character can't do that. There are so many other characters that I feel would be way cooler. Yes, I get it, he's had roles in every Kirby game, but once again, I feel like people inflate that to a highest extent, because all he's there for in like Triple Deluxe and 3DS titles, if I'm not mistaken, is he just gives food to people. I don't know, man. I feel personally, I don't see it, and I will never see it. If you guys can convince me in the comment section that Waddle Dee is an interesting character to put in and would be way more interesting and way cooler than characters like Marks and DeRoach and Adeline, then fine, I'll concede. If you guys could give me a convincing argument other than the fact that, oh, he was in Kirby's Dreamland, oh, he has a spear, so that automatically makes him unique as for a moveset, oh, he would have a moveset practically made for him, because I'm not accepting those arguments anymore. Those arguments are whack, and comparing him to the Piranha Plant is basically you admitting that he is nothing but a Waddle Dee with a bandana on. But if you want to convince me, like it says in the Star Allies thing, that he is his own character, then go ahead, show me something that he can do that's unique. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know. I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will, and I don't think anyone's gonna prove it, because Waddle Dee is uninteresting compared to a bunch of the other characters out there. Either way though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys like and comment and subscribe, and at least if you want to keep your Waddle Dee representation and you want to keep hoping for it on the real, please just be more open-minded and tell me why you like him so much. I want to know. I don't want to hear, oh, it's because he's a fourth character, yada yada yada. I don't care, okay? I don't care about that reasoning. I want to hear why you genuinely care about Waddle Dee more than other characters out there. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this episode and want to see what else is on the grill, you guys check out this whole playlist in the description below. And of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want more Smash talk on your plate. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you can put your spatulas down now, but keep it sizzling, my bacon haters. Peace.